Hello everybody, welcome to Beyond Boundaries with Lisa Richmond. I'm Lisa Richmond. Thank you so much for showing up today. I'm really happy to have you. If you've stumbled upon this video, welcome. If you're a returning guest, I'm so happy to have you back. So today's message is something that came through really strongly and that I've kind of been sitting on all day and really letting grow within me to be able to bring through this message. So I'm really happy to be here. For those of you who don't know, I am a channeler. I channel information from cosmic beings, light beings, angelic realm. I'm a medium. I speak to loved ones who've passed. I communicate with animals, and I do what I call a kind of like your blueprint activation, your soul's mission. We come here, and throw in some free will to combine fate and experience life. And what I do is I go into your Akashic records, or the Akashic field, into the energy field, to be able to bring through messages that help align you to your greatest good, to your soul's alignment, whether that's activation or helping you to bring in this deep remembering. Okay, so that's kind of who I am. And then through that, I bring through messages for the collective and post them here. So if you're tuning in, I hope that you enjoy. So today's message was really, it was beautiful, and it's very refreshing, actually. Coming through October, I feel like October 2025 could be written down in not only like our lifetime, but in like the whole big kind of book of experiences as one of the trickiest energetic months that I can even recall. And there was so many combinations of reasons why that was, but at the end of the day, it really involves the Earth's ascension into a higher frequency. And just like when individuals have their awakening or an understanding or an upgrade, it's generally not pleasant. So sometimes it can happen through like fevers or sicknesses, where actually our like cells are having a rebirth, so to speak. Or it can be through like something more dramatic, like an NDE, or it can be in something where we make a big life choice and we see what the repercussions are, and all of a sudden we start learning from that. Okay, so really these big trajectory changes on an individual level, we can attest to the fact that most times they're accompanied by like pain, difficulty, where it's never like, everything that has helped me grow and expand and learn from in this world has been gifted to me with ease and grace. Like it's just not it. And so when it is happening on a macro level, like our Earth's ascension, the Earth itself, her Mother Gaia herself, is going through the biggest upgrade, transformation, up-leveling, expansive change that she's experienced, not only in our lifetimes, but from like many of our lifetimes, way back. We have to go way, way back till we can see where the Earth frequency is resonating at the level it's resonating now, and it's only increasing. So we can look at measurable tools like measuring the Schumann resonance, which is the vibration in which Earth is actually like resonating from. When we're measuring, it used to be like a 7, and like she's like skyrocketed, right? And we're having these pulses from the sun. And I talked about this before, where our sun is actually bringing in huge activations for Earth and us. So we have our own little like universes that are within us. So we're like all the planet, all the humans that inhabit this planet are all their own little walking universes that are all connected and communicating with one another, as well as the earth as a consciousness within our universe, within the universes beyond, which, like, it's just like, that scene where you like look at a mirror, and then you look at the mirror in the mirror in the mirror in the mirror, and it's kind of like that. Like, we kind of like fold in on each other as we're experiencing. And we're getting a little quantum here, but I want you to stay with me. Because as the earth continues to raise its frequency, we are with it. And that, just like any major transformation, the chrysalis, the caterpillar looks nothing like the butterfly. And I know that analogy has been used a lot lately, but it's just such a beautiful, like, real life comparison, because the caterpillar turns to mush, and it's got to be painful. And when it emerges, it looks nothing like it. And the actual frequency change of a caterpillar to a butterfly is completely different. And so when we are upgrading and our DNA is activating into this higher consciousness, this we are activating into these multi-dimensional beings out of third dimensional frequency into a multi-dimensional being where we are receiving messages beyond the third dimension, our whole system has to transform and transmute and change with this whole changing system. So micro and macro. So on an individual level, it's very difficult. It's downright painful. The migraines, the physical pain, the dizziness, the ringing in the ears, the unsteadiness, the lack of sleep, the vivid dreams. Like, our consciousness is shaping into a multi-dimensional frequency, which isn't minor. It is major. So this is the point, okay? So we've talked about this, and so it's like, and what? Spirit gave me this, like, beautiful, like, wrap of love kind of confirmation today that in this, the easiest way for us as humans to be able to allow and surrender to this beautiful upgrade, transformational process in our lives right now, and is to let go. Is to let go and let it happen. The whole idea of why, we can describe it to, like, a bit, like I'm trying to with words right now, when it's just kind of energy and frequency that I get the download, so then I have to transfer it into words. But Spirit said, if we remember that in this transformation, we are moving from here, thought process, mind, 3D, into heart frequency, heart activation, heart consciousness, which is that of the multidimensional, the fifth dimensional frequency that connects love into one another, where we feel and embody the energy to be able then to go forward and know what our body needs, what we require naturally, what the earth provides for us depending on where we are located. You know, when we listen to our system saying, I need rest, or I need movement, you need to slow down, or you need to pick up the pace, you need to stop and listen, or it's time to introduce your thoughts. We can decipher all of that within this beautiful body that we created, and in order to live for ourselves, if we embody it and we get out of the mentality of being outside of ourselves to figure out what the hell is going on, what is going on, what is going on, what is going on. It's kind of like that thing where it's like someone was bitten by a snake and you need to get help, but it's like, but what? You know, what did it look like? Where did it go? Let me go find the snake. Let me go find the snake and I'll give it, like, no, that's happened. Now pay attention to what your body needs now. And that's what this is. And when Spirit said you embody first, and when you embody first, and you listen to what your system needs, it stops ringing so loudly of, I need your attention. Chances are right now, a little bit more rest. We're moving into retrograde season, Mercury retrograde, and I'll tell you what that means. It's not like, damn. It means slow down. Take it down a couple notches. Start resting a minute. And another thing is that they keep saying, and I'm like, I know, I'm getting there. Our point is to be embodied in order to shine the love from our heart space. And so that when we can hold our own beacon of light and stop worrying about how many different people are shining their light, who can see my light, oh, over there, I can see you need light, I can see that, but we're not paying attention to the, hey, battery low, like my light needs to be charged. And so if we come back and embody, ground ourselves and be here, and we allow ourselves to let go of extenuating circumstances and what is going on outside of ourselves, come back in and take care of this, so that all of a sudden that pulsating of heart energy just comes flooding out. And then it's not even about doing, it's about the actual being present, the presentness of our own light, the embodiment of our heart space, just like fires off this frequency of light that is the purpose of the existence right now, to raise the consciousness. It is that light that raises the frequency. So if we all come back, recharge in order to get this heart space just brilliantly expansive, that's when we wake up and we look around and we're like, holy shit, it is bright. And I'm not upset because she has a bright light as well. And I can see how her light is emulating and helps me see this. And their light is on, instead of it being like, no, my light's brighter. And is it shining over there? And I haven't even looked at over there. And why is that light? Why is my light not way over there? And what are these people doing? How come they don't want my light? And blah, 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 blah. How can I make a list of making sure that this many people have this much stuff? It's like, stop trying to figure everything out, because that's coming from this. And the way in which we're expanding right now, and the multidimensional aspect of the entire creation of our earth and its beings, are moving in this direction, that the more that we stay up here and try to figure it out, because all this stuff is changing and we don't like change because that makes us feel unsafe, that dims the light. Compensatory strategy, trying to please, trying to gain more, scarcity, fear, and then all of a sudden, no light. And we're searching for this purpose. We're searching for what is our soul's mission, and I know I'm here to do something, but what is it? If my guides, tell me about my guides, they'll tell me. You have your guides, they're there for you, you need to talk to them. Say, allow me to, or help me be able to sit in my presence long enough for me to embody myself, to be able to spread this light. Because the more the lights go on, the more the lights go on, the more the light shines. Our earth is, it's happening. And we can try to, let's try to figure it out, or resist change. But that's like trying to turn the tap off of the ocean. Like it's just going to happen. And so the more that you can just let go of extenuating circumstances and your perception of feeling like it makes you feel safer if you can control all of that stuff, and you come back into your home, your own heart, and and you ask yourself, what is it that helps me build my light? What is it that charges my batteries? And then your body starts talking to you. Well, I need more water. And I'd really like warmer food. And we need like 4 more hours of sleep a night. Right? Like those kind of things charge the light. And then before you know it, when the light is charged, that's when you can see. That's when you can see. And then things start to become a lot easier, is when you detach from the need to know and detach from the perception like it's up to you to figure everything out. Okay? You're here to experience, especially right now. You chose to come here during this huge change. So this is the time where it is happening. We can feel it. We can feel the ringing in our ears. We can feel the immense pain. We can feel the activation happening. And instead of running around being like, "Bah, what's happening? What's happening?" up into your head, old mentalities, old things, when all that is actually crumbling away with this activation, they're saying, "Come back, embody, get in your body. Get in your body." And that allows you to just calm the nervous system, reduce the stress, because inflammation is out of control right now because of it. Embody, rest, drink your water, mineralize your water, drink it, and allow the light to turn on. So your job isn't to make sure that everybody else's light's on. Your job isn't to make sure that every crevice of every corner isn't lit up. Your job is to figure out, how is it that I can embody in order to turn up the volume of my heart activation, which is my light. That is the new frequency. And then once that's done, that's what connects you into the higher frequency. That's when the job appears. That's when the relationship appears. That's when the financial burden dissipates. Because what you're seeing is your experience in that higher frequency, because you've allowed yourself to get there. You can't get there with thought. You can't get there the old way. It's the new activation. It's the new earth, and that's through the heart space. So we're having to allow the codes to come in. You don't have to understand exactly what crystalline DNA is and the activation process. You can if you want, but it's happening. And so instead of trying to have everything figured out in the third dimensional understanding, which it's not going to, because it's not in the same frequency of what's happening, we allow ourselves to expand. We come into ourselves in order to expand ourselves into this higher level consciousness, because once we're there and we're swimming in it, that's when we're seeing the results. We can't attract anything from there if we're not in the frequency. Okay? And so November is very much a time to be able to rest and restore. Rest and restore. We're charging our batteries, we're plugging in, or we're allowing the sun rays to just absorb. Okay, they're saying specifically, there's some messages here. Warmer food. Okay, so try not to just live on smoothies and really ice cold water. Your system needs this upgrade actually needs more of the warmth. So water being a little bit warmer, even warm water with lemon. I'm not saying no cold food, fresh fruit and fresh vegetables, great. But even in the digestive process, you can actually enrich your food by slightly cooking it. Not cooking the nutrients out, but slightly cooking it in order for your system to break it down and absorb the nutrients from it. And meat is another thing, where if red meat is something that your system requires that iron from it, and you live in a place where that's the kind of interaction where your physical body needs that, then fair, right? Maybe bless the food to reduce the level of suffering and that kind of stuff, so that the energy of the food in which you take in is very directly correlated. And so it's less about following a proper Canada Food Guide, or the food and drug company say eat this, or I can go into my body, embody, and really ask for direction on what my body needs, and trust that I'm going to be able to provide it with what it needs, because it's mine and it was built for me and I know what it needs. Okay, so that's huge. Just let me tune in for a second. There's a little bit more. Just hold on. Give me a little minute. Much of the food on your planet has been distorted through the process of growth hormones or chemical production, We ask you, human beings, to be able to neutralize the food in which you absorb into your vessels in an enriched way, whether it be growing your own food, or community gardens are a wonderful way to gather and take in enriched foods. It starts with your soil. You can start with a small garden and enrich your soil to grow food that is nourishing to your body, dependent on the seasonality of the growth period, as well as the proteins in which your body requires. Protein comes in many different forms and is also highly altered. One of the most highly altered foods on your planet is through the protein intake. We ask of you to be aware and understanding of the protein in which you absorb into your body, as you do require protein for your strength and growth. Yet the processing part of the protein can often have measurable effects on the human body. We ask during this process of evolution that human beings absorb more nutrients, and by doing that you can simplify in the foods that you have an intake. Less processed foods, less boxed foods, and more of the natural foods that grow within your community and in a close range. The pharmaceuticals that are being absorbed at a high level also influence your ability to absorb and intake the nutrients needed for your upgrade on the planet now. A lot of humans believe that the pharmaceuticals are for their greatest good, and intention is a large part of what we take in and how our body reacts. Although a vast majority of you need far less of the pharmaceuticals that are being absorbed. We ask of you to be conscious about what your body needs and requires, and knows that it is a direct reflection from the intake of our foods, our drinks, and the other pieces that we may absorb that influence how we feel, how we sleep, how we interact, our moods, our hormones. The pharmaceuticals, although may seem to help on the surface, actually cause a lot of disarrangement within the human body. If we go back to the basics to be able to absorb and take in the nutritious food that is available, and we start to allow our body to detoxify from the toxins that are available to us on a regular basis, with the intention of health, growth, and vitality, the human being will continue to evolve in a higher rate into a higher frequency. This we emphasize. Okay, so thank you. That was my Arcturian guide. So sometimes I have an Arcturian guide that comes through, and it's like pretty, I always like to call him like the feet on the ground. Like he's like very much like earth-based and like the feet on the ground. Like he's the kind of protector, and he's kind of not like soldier, but he's kind of got like the, like he takes care of business kind of thing. And that was his message. And it was really funny because I was like, no, okay, I can hear you. I can hear you. I'll bring through the message. And I've been bringing it through. And when I came in to just be like, okay, what's the last message? He's like, just let me say it. I was like, okay. Also, as soon as he started talking about the pharmaceutical part, I'm like, shit, I don't want to like get into like the debate about whether you should be on SSRIs or you should be on this meds or this. Like, I don't like getting into that because it's so individualized. That was a message from Marcus. So thank you very much, Marcus, my Arcturian guide. But it's been said. Take it with a grain of salt. However, that I think the whole purpose of that was like, you know, we are really like, we lean into the pharmaceuticals a lot, and I get it. I get it. There's lots of room for like Western medicine. I get it. But I think that like upgrade is also allowing us to start integrating some like amazing healers that come from traditional lines of healing and acupuncture and like herbs, and there's going to continue to be an array of healing modalities that will become available as we increase in our frequency, because when we're working from that multidimensional space, like I said before, and things are showing up from that higher frequency, we heal from that frequency too. And so that's going to be something that is definitely, we're going to see a lot more of that, of those healing modalities and how our physical body responds. So this message was huge. So this was like a really cool, like therapeutic intervention to the frequency upgrade. There you go. Therapeutic intervention to our massive frequency upgrade on planet Earth. There's my title. If you're still here, thanks so much for listening. This was an awesome, awesome transmission, and I appreciate everybody being here. And I love you very much. And if you're looking to work with me, head to my website at lisarichmond.ca. Reach out, and I'll try to find a space. I'm currently fully booked, but we're looking to open up some more stuff. So I'm excited about the new offerings that are coming down the pipe. So anyway, I send this with so much love. I hope that you all had a wonderful weekend. And we're in November now. So, like, saddle up. Actually, unsaddle. Grab your pillow and blanket and curl up, light a candle, and have some rest. I love you so much. Take care. I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.